TSPN is excited to announce Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Focusing on the lives, experiences, and viewpoints of motherlode women, the show features a rotating cast of 4 women of all ages and from all walks of life. Quick, upbeat, and fast-paced with a variety of topics, this one-hour show will be aired live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Tune in, it's Just Between Us. TSP.
Oh, good morning, and welcome to Just Between Us. Thanks for goosing me, Monique. I needed that, my dear. Hey, there's 4 of us today, and we want to get started right away. So, good morning. I'm Susie from Volcano.
I'm Monique from Ione.
And I'm Kathleen from Pioneer.
And I'm Martha from Ione.
And Jackson.
And Jackson.
Yes. All right, Kathleen.
All right.
Let's do it to it here.
Okay, pick 2.
Pick 2.
A couple of topics. And I'll roll.
One of those.
In the first
Want to know
topic.
what the topic is?
Yes.
Our judicial system.
Okay, number 6.
Number 6. Do you feel that the death penalty should be enforced? Ooh, juicy
Okay,
one. Ooh.
and the next topic?
Free for all.
Free for all. Okay. You want to take the first free for all, and then the girls will take the second free for all?
Sure, sounds good.
Okie dokie. We're going to take a very short break. Please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Between Us.
Welcome back to Just Between Us. And Monique, our next question.
Okay, entertaining. Do you enjoy entertaining?
Every day.
You do it every day, Miss Martha.
It's your everyday job.
Every day. I truly enjoy, whenever some of my customers, they want to talk to me, that's part of my job, to come to their table and talk to them, ask them how everything is, and then we start talking about the families, and we start talking about our kids, and grandma, grandpa, and, the whole thing.
Oh, they're truly interested in your life and, how you run the business, and especially being a strong businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I go into a business and you find a really interesting business owner, you just want to know about them.
Last night I had another business owner in Sutter Creek. They were asking me all kinds of questions. And a lot of the people that own a business, they kind of keep their business to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very open. I help in any way I can, anybody.
Well, that's your nature.
Yeah.
That's my nature.
I believe you get back what you give. So,
Absolutely.
But I'm not a comfortable entertainer.
No?
And that
Really?
surprised me because you have such a beautiful personality.
Because you're just so open and fun.
I think it's years and years and years of being married to somebody who had evening and weekend hours, and so I never, ever had anyone over in my house.
Yeah.
So I don't get comfortable.
My mom was like that. She rarely had company, and I could tell, even when I came over with my family, she was worked up like it was Christmas just to go and have spaghetti dinner.
Yeah.
And then when I owned the inn, I used to own the Fox's Inn, sold it about a year ago, and every day was entertaining, but I absolutely loved it. And I decided to go ahead and buy the inn because I had my guest room at home filled the entire summer except for one day. I mean, we always entertained. We had business parties, socializing, family, but a lot of it revolved around my ex-husband's business. We'd take people up to the mountains and go skiing, or he'd take them to the duck club and entertain the guys while I took the ladies shopping and, make dinners. And I love to cook, and I also enjoy having, kind of a combination of me doing some of the cooking and then having some assistance with catering, so you get that homemade feel, but yet you're not working the entire time and you're able to go socialize. And I miss that actually now because my daughter's older, she's a teenager, she's gone all the time, and I don't entertain nearly as much as I used to, but I really love it. I can do it all the time.
You know what's fun too, though, I think one of the keys to entertaining is you have to know the people that you're having over, you have to know their personality. Mm-hmm. There are some that are steak and potatoes people. There are some that you can just, hey, it's informal, we're going to barbecue outside, grab a paper plate, serve yourself. And then there's people that are a little bit more where you have to maybe cater to their needs and serve them. But I really honestly feel that you don't have to go out of your way and spend a lot of money, and you don't have to make big, fancy, exotic things. Just small little thing from the heart, and that shows it right there. But I think entertaining I think like in the 60s and 70s, it was the more formal, that was everybody had a luau in the backyard, the whole big thing. And then they kind of got away, and then the potluck came in, and that's like today, hey, we're going to have our annual bash, come on over. Can you bring A? Can you bring C? Can you bring, and whatever. And some people don't like that. Some people are very comfortable with that. But I think entertaining just is such it's an umbrella. There's so many things that come under that umbrella when it comes to entertaining. You don't have to, some people serve fine wine out of beautiful stem glasses, and some people open up a can of beer, but everybody's happy.
I'm a more formal entertainer, I think.
You like,
but that's how I was
but
raised.
that's how you are.
My family sat down and had a full-on dinner every night. My dad was still in his suit. We were still in our work clothes, even when we were in high school. We all sat down at 6:30 and had a formal sit-down dinner. And on Sundays was the big roast and the cake, and so that's how kind of I was trained by watching what your parents do.
Right.
And I still love that. If I invite people over, let's say for brunch. The brunch is made by the time they get there, hopefully so, sometimes a little behind. But I like to have everything ready, the table set, and the table set, with the china and what have you, sometimes casual, sometimes, more formal. But that's how I like it, and everybody's different. I like to barbecue too.
I was never raised with china and this and that.
No, me neither.
I was raised cooking outside with wood, and to me that is so exciting. Whenever I cook outside, sometimes I just start a little fire and I warm up some water just to make some hot chocolate for the kids with sit outside, and that just makes it.
I'm a great guest.
That girl. That's what we want to hear.
And those are the things that bring back memories sometimes when I cook outside. It just, even though you would think, oh my God, wouldn't you want to have something more formal? That's where I'm comfortable, eating outside and doing things outside.
Al fresco.
Yeah.
You know what? But you hit it right on the button. Having a guest that enjoys coming over and leaves with a smile on their face, that's what entertaining's about. We got to move on, Tootsie. What's our next one?
Okay. So the category is what with 4 exclamation points. Okay.
What?
If your man asked you a question that you knew the answer would hurt him, would you tell the truth? How
When
would
I
you
was
do it?
20, probably not, but now, because the truth may hurt, but being lied to hurts more.
And don't you
agree.
think you can open up the conversation? Okay, this is going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt because I know you and I love you dearly. But I have to get this off my chest.
And we're not talking about does this butt make my butt look fat kind of question, because you don't need to just be mean. But if it's
Why did you look at me when you said that?
Because you were the one talking at the time. But you do not have that problem at all.
I personally think that it depends on the person, because everybody's different. If it's about your man, you have to find a way to say it without being so offensive. There's ways to talk to people.
Absolutely.
There's ways to say things without being so hurtful. Because one thing I never forget is when somebody hurts me.
Yeah.
I
you
forgive.
can't take back words.
I forgive.
Just being rude. But if it's your man, I'm putting that in quotes. But if you're having a relationship with somebody and you can't be honest, something's
then you
wrong
don't have a
with
relationship.
that.
Well, and
Something
I like
is
to
very
be delicate too,
But you have
because
to find a way.
It's how they're going to receive it too, right? And
Yes.
you know if you've known this person.
Think, my grandfather always taught me, think before you say something how it's going to affect the other person.
Right.
And it's true.
Right.
Because I see sometimes people say things to me and it just kind of takes my breath away, and it's just like, did you just say that?
What's the rotary 4-way test? Is it the truth? Is it good for all concerned? I can't remember what it is, but if you look at those 4 things before you open your mouth, the reality is
And think about what you want to say before you blurt it out.
Yeah.
It really does matter on whether people are spoke to with a loving heart or if you're saying it out of frustration or anger, you
Well,
know,
most of
it
the
makes a big
times people
difference.
will speak out of frustration.
Right.
And when it comes out of frustration, it's going to come out wrong, you know?
Right.
And I always think before I open my big fat mouth, because sometimes I get very frustrated. You know, I have two,
That's human nature.
you know, I have just so many employees.
I have a
They
boiling
all
point.
have different personalities. I'm not just talking about my man.
Well,
You know, it's
I stuff. And what happens to me?
Oh,
Yeah.
I just keep.
Yeah.
And that can make you sick after a
Oh,
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
You
learn,
can't
you
stop it,
feel
yeah.
resentment because you can't say that to that person. And
But
you know where I'm
can.
coming from.
The reality
When
is,
you-
I was raised with, I don't want you to hurt my feelings thinking.
Sure.
My mom was that way.
Sure.
Everybody had to be happy at
Yeah.
all
But
costs.
that's not life.
No, it's
It's
not
not
life.
reality.
It's not life. And
And
at
I think that if
60, I get to now
Right.
comfortably get used to what it is I need to say. And
Wait until you get 66 like me, honey. Oh boy, your name will be in lights. Trust me. But I think that if you love someone and you're sharing your life with someone, I think, like I said, you can open it up and say, I need to address this. I know it hurts,
Find a way.
but I need to do
Yeah.
this.
because everybody's different.
Absolutely.
Find a way
Well, yeah.
to explain to that person, you know, whatever it is that you don't like, because if you don't, it's just going to hurt your
if it
relationship.
matters to me, I have to find a way to express
That a girl.
whatever it is,
That's it.
or be able to walk away
Well,
from the situation.
wouldn't you want to know if you're repetitively doing something that either hurts someone or irritates someone, whatever the action is, instead of saying, "Oh, everything's good. No, you're fine. Oh, yeah, I love you." I would rather know if I'm being obnoxious or a pain in the rear or just, wrong, period.
Or D, all of the above.
Yeah, or all of them,
Or you
but-
roll
but-
over
but
in the
don't
morning
come
and say
over
you're
and-
still
come over
breathing.
and
Gosh,
say,
darn
I want
it,
to talk
I'm
to you, which is a good way to start. Instead of, wow, what you did, blah, blah, blah. Don't accuse,
You know,
but
I
talk.
always
Yeah,
tell my
you gotta
granddaughters, because they teenagers now and they starting to date, and I tell them, the first thing that you have to think about when you have a boyfriend is, what is that relationship all about? It's about pleasing each other. And how quick we forget. We get married and then we just want our way,
Yeah.
And
Or-
we want,
and-
when you first starting to date, you just please each other in every way that you can.
And what I
that's
tell
what
my
life
daughter
is so
is,
supposed to be.
a lot
you
of
know?
times in relationships, it's one or the other trying to please the other person, and the other person just takes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
Well,
that's where
that's
you
wrong.
really have to
Yeah,
watch,
that's-
because
yeah.
if it's not two people trying to please each
Right,
other,
right.
and it's a one-sided thing, you
No.
got to learn
You
to
know,
walk away.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
there's an old saying. A lot of times, you hear
Well
somebody
said.
breaking up or whatever, you think, oh my God, they're so happy. There's an old saying. You don't know what goes on in another person's house, including the two people that live in it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very, very true. And the thing is that you have to be open and honest, because that's how you are. I know you 100%.
I have
You're
known
like that.
so many couples that are so happy, lovey, decent, and then the next week it's like they get in a divorce.
Well, and you're
Well,
a
you
business
can't
owner. You
compare-
don't go and
Yeah.
air the dirty laundry. You have to
You can't
Yeah.
compare insides to outsides. You can't. What
No.
you look like and what's going on. That's
Oh,
the last
yeah.
two.
Last
Okay.
two. Take them,
Easy
girl.
enough.
Because they're
Let's go.
yours.
All right, roll them, baby.
Okay, and the first topic,
Political
honey?
system.
Number
Number
4.
4, do you get involved in your local political scene?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Kathleen
the next
does.
one.
And free for all.
April.
Okay, that's you two.
Let's
You two
go.
girls come up with the next free-for-all. We're going to take a short break. Going to come back and see with Kathleen and Martha comes up with their free-for-all.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Just Between Us.
Welcome back to Just Between Us, Monique. Before we hit
We
our
were
free-for-all.
gossiping. We were gossiping.
And
Our
we do it so
political
well. We
system.
do it so well.
God.
Okay, this is kind of interesting. Our political system. Do you get involved in your local political scene?
These two do.
Well, I when I worked at the food bank, I learned that my voice as a constituent mattered, and that if one person has an idea and gets other people involved, it's those people work for me. I elected them. They work for me. I have a right to say what I think. Whether anything happens from that or not. So, yeah, I was never a political person. Never. I voted Republican because my parents were Republican. I had no opinion, and I believe...
That's the best part about growing up.
Yeah.
You can do what you want.
I honestly believe it's my right and it's my responsibility to be involved.
Absolutely.
Do you know what amazes me is what my word carries. I don't know how I have done it, but I'm so well respected in the community.
They're afraid of
And
you.
it just-
It's simple. They're afraid.
Watch out.
I can give you a list of things if you would like.
you know,
Not what they're afraid of, but why you're respected.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, don't you find it when you were in the interfaith bank overwhelming sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
That you know you have to carry this weight, and you have to.
That's why I don't work there anymore.
you know,
After 13 years, I was tired.
and,
couldn't do it.
And it's just you have to carry this weight and follow up and be an example, not just for your family. Because I always tried to be a good example for my family, for my great kids and my grandkids, and my friends. But there are times that I want to just take it off, honey.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
You know?
it's like the question we had before about would you tell your man something whether it hurt him or not? Our elected officials, regardless of what level you're talking about, whether it's our supervisors or it's state or it's federal, they're going to do what they think is best. And if they hear from me or you or any of us, whether they agree or disagree with an opinion, it gives them information about something that maybe they have not conceived of
about it.
that,
Right.
that
Correct.
thought
Or
process.
Didn't think enough people felt the same way about it.
Right,
Yeah.
but if we don't assist in our government,
Well, they have to hear your voice.
yes,
They have to.
or they're just going to do what they think.
My thing with government, this is local, but a grand scale, our federal and whatever. I have always had this credo that no matter if you don't like the person, you respect the office that they're representing, and I want my government, state, county, president, I want them successful, because when they're successful, it makes our country
All of us
stronger.
better.
Now, I may not like the person,
Right.
but I want them successful. And I think that's the one thing about politics that people seem to forget. It's always, I hate them. Well, it's the past administration's fault. I hate this person.
not a
I hate that
popularity
person.
contest.
It's that.
Yes,
that's
it is. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
and in some
Sorry.
It is, but it
respects,
shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
in
because
some
we're talking
respects
about
it
the
is, but
issue and not the
Campaign
person.
reform.
But the fact is whether you agree or disagree, or whether your party or your person was elected, give them the respect that respect is due, and listen to what they have to say. Then if you disagree, fine, then you have your voice and you can say what you want to say. But I think that the most important thing about being involved in a political situation is you have to listen, and you have to understand, how is that going to affect our county and myself?
Yeah. Listen and educate. Having an opinion that's uneducated is really dangerous.
Well,
so-
people turn you off after a while.
Yeah.
They say, oh boy, here comes that crazy loon. I don't want to hear them anymore. Not that I'm looking
is
or
true.
talking to anybody specific, but really, you've got to learn that you can carry a big stick, but you can be a little soft about it and say, I disagree with them because my viewpoint on this is that, but I respect their position, and I hope that I get my way. But okay, if it goes through, then we've got to learn to deal with certain things, and I think that's why today, politically, I think politics is such a a topic today that years ago, except for the last 10 years, we have just boom, 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 and it's
What
terrible.
was that movie, Network? I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to
yes,
take it anymore.
and I'm not gonna take it
I
anymore.
think that as a people, the American people, are finally getting disgusted at the chasm that has been created by what I consider our government making really horrible choices.
Yeah.
I have
I
to
have
say-
to be really passionate about something that has to do with politics to get involved. I just don't think it's like my nature. That's not really who I am. because I'm involved in lots of different things, and I'm more of a person who wants to help,
Yeah.
and help succeed and help do.
And
but
don't you find being in business, being your own business, and when you were in business, sometimes you got to be a
yes,
little
you kind
quieter
of have to be a little careful
but-
about
yeah.
what you say and how you say
in
it.
front of certain people.
Well, but honestly, you're very correct. When you're very predominant in the public eye, how people perceive you
Absolutely.
really does matter. But as a solo owner business person, everything that happens impacts your ability to make a profit and stay in business. And it's not about getting wealthy and having the good life. It's about providing. And when our government does stupid stuff that impact your ability,
Big time.
And how many people with Obamacare are going to take their full-time employees and make them part-time because they can't afford the benefits that are going to be required. So it's like, hello, did you think about that when you passed that law? But that impacts you as a business person.
Exactly.
It
Right.
does. And
But
so
I have to say something.
Go ahead,
Something
and then we
real
gotta
quick.
move on.
I just have to thank all the local
We've
politicians.
got some good people here.
With
We do.
the decisions
people.
that they make are the best decisions for our
Right.
county for what they get. Because
Absolutely.
they don't always get, the same amounts that we need, to
Yeah.
do better things in
And
the
you know
county.
what? Sit down
the
and call them up and talk
decisions-
to them.
we have good supervisors that care about the community that
Absolutely.
they live
You
in,
betcha.
and
Yes, we
I
do.
have a great deal of respect for who is representing us right
We
now.
got to move on, and we have to take our last free for all. And I think Kathleen, you and Martha came up with
What we were gossiping
Which-
about when the camera came on.
which,
Facebook.
which you would like to talk about on Facebook.
Facebook.
Okay.
It can be
Yeah.
a good thing, but it can be a horrible thing sometimes.
It amazes
too,
me what people put on Facebook. Do I lurk? Do I read? Yeah, I have a Facebook page. This is how this started.
I
The
don't.
food bank had a
I
Facebook
should get
page,
one.
and in order for the food bank to have a Facebook page, and what we accomplished on Facebook with the food bank was phenomenal. We rallied people. We got food in the door. We did wonderful things with that Facebook page. But because I had a corporate Facebook page, it had to be managed by an individual. So I had a personal Facebook page. And if you don't put something on it on a regular basis, people don't watch who you are, and so you
Right.
lose your capacity. And so I got used to
have to
doing
be
it.
creative.
Now, because of who I am, nothing personal goes on my Facebook page.
Absolutely.
I mean, pictures of my kids or my grandkids, but there was a time when I deleted my kids' posts off of my Facebook page because they were my friends. They posted on my wall, and I would block what they were
Kathleen,
saying because I didn't want that image out there because it was not pretty.
Yes, and I don't
But-
have one,
Right.
and I was going to take,
But
I
it's
have to
just
apologize to
amazes
Stephanie. I was ill that night, or I would have taken the class, but I think what you have to remember when you're on Facebook is that other people know what you're saying. Whether you delete it or not, someone's going to see it, and they're going to talk about it.
And they tell you,
and
you know,
and be
people
responsible.
call you and you go,
be
"Oh,
responsible. It's
I don't
like you're
care."
having a conversation like we're here now, and there are people watching. Okay, you know what you can and what you can't say, and if you want to be hurtful and say things, you're actually making yourself look like a
You
fool.
look like a fool, and
Yeah.
it's people when they post rude things, they talk about someone in a negative way. I mean, you think, what's wrong
Yeah.
with them?
I have
Don't
to
they have
tell you
anything better to
something.
do?
It's a
We
very public.
I'm doing,
Arena.
I have a private detective right now that is doing some investigation, and I'm finding out all of the steps that they have to take in order to, get this person and find out who it is. There's some cyberbullying in in this town, and so and some of it is children. And so I'm finding out about all of the things that they have to do. It could be somebody in the other side of the country.
Yeah.
That we could never find out who it is.
And my son's in the military,
That's
and
so
I posted
scary.
on Facebook because I was proud that he had graduated from boot camp.
Oh, you told
and
us about
he
that.
was being assigned to another station, and I posted what day that he was moving.
Yeah.
And he's not going overseas, but he is trying to find me everywhere. Pull down the post, pull down the post, pull down the post, because people, I had the whatever they call that banner,
Yes.
proud mom of
Yeah.
a U.S.
Yeah.
soldier. He told
Yeah.
me to take it off because people look for anything that has to do with the military. They will present. I had friend requests from missionaries in other countries, people I did not know, that were soliciting a friend request from me.
Wow.
And he said that they are taught in the military that you cannot friend somebody that you absolutely do not know, that you don't know who that person is, because they will present to be something that they're,
they're
not,
not.
to try and get information from you. So
Yes.
you know,
Wow.
yeah.
Yes.
But Facebook has tremendous capacity, because I started this off with saying that the things that the food bank was able to accomplish via Facebook were absolutely
Fantastic.
astonishing.
Yeah.
It was
And
it could be a
astonishing.
great
Just
community.
And the
use personal.
technology, you
Just
know,
you just do personal responsibility.
my granddaughter
We're
was
going to
doing
take a break.
Skype,
We'll be right back.
you know,
Just
all-
Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. And now back to Just Between Us.
Welcome back to Just
Well,
Between
we're-
Us. Are you
we're
ready
just,
for
we
our
just
hot
don't
topic?
even know. We don't even know what we're talking about. Jeez.
Okay, we're going to be talking about any thoughts in the sequester. What we need to point out is this. They're done. It's sequestered, right? Because it's
at
past,
11:59
it's
tonight.
12 o'clock back there.
Not yet, it's 11:59
Almost.
No,
tonight.
tonight.
Oh, tonight.
PM.
Oh, PM. Oh, okay.
So it's a new day.
It's a new dawn. It's
Yeah.
a new day.
Saturday.
And I'm not feeling
Saturday
good.
we're sequestered. Yeah.
And everybody's left?
Yes.
Oh, great. Well,
You
here we
know-
go.
You know what I think? This is, well, gee, what a big surprise. I'm going to tell you what I think.
Atta girl.
I think that the House and the Senate should be sequestered, and they should treat them like when the Cardinals used to, because they don't do it anymore. When they went to elect a pope, they would lock them up, and after 3 days,
The
if they didn't
conclave, they're
solve
in the
it, they
sequester.
stopped feeding them, and if they still couldn't solve it, then
Mm-hmm.
they stopped giving them water.
wow.
I
like
think we
that.
should do that.
Extreme, but you know it could work.
That's what they used to
least
do to
keep
get a
them
pope.
The hell with
in
Weight
one
Watchers.
place. keep these politicians in one place where the issues can be discussed and resolved, instead of saying, well, you know, I'm going here tomorrow and I'm off for this weekend. This is obviously an issue that has to be solved in the very near future.
I am
Well,
disgusted
Where's
that they
everybody go?
left.
Don't they have
Okay.
a job?
I am too.
Why
I'm
aren't they there?
disgusted.
Go ahead.
There's one thing that I have to say for them. You know, all of the situations and all of the rules and the regulations are so controversial that it's hard for them to, you know, all these attorneys put all these words on every, you know, law that comes on,
Yeah.
and it makes it hard to
Obamacare was
Yeah.
was
This is what I'm
voluminous.
saying. So
And-
that's why
and
they're having
Pelosi
a
says,
hard
"Let's
time."
pass this thing so we can see what's in it." Excuse me, see what's in it before you pass.
No, I
That's
wanna-
what they're elected to do when they
Yeah.
Right.
when they applied for
Yes.
that job. And believe me, they are very well paid for what they do.
oh, you
I'm
bet.
not,
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
saying
I feel
am
no
not
sympathy
saying-
for them.
I am
None.
not saying that it is
None.
right. I'm saying that the attorneys make all these laws and they make them so hard to understand, and then they can change them later, you know, with the words.
The
And they-
attorneys
and-
can't change the laws.
Unfortunate-
The people change
the-
the laws.
Well,
Yeah.
who writes the laws?
They do.
They do.
They
but
do.
They can't go.
But
They
aren't
can't go
they-
into effect
But
until
they-
we
aren't
vote them
they-
in.
Aren't they all attorneys that use language that we
Most
don't
of our
understand?
elected officials
You
are
know?
attorneys.
And so, you know,
It's called.
like,
It's called. Those big words that they use. It's called BS.
yes.
Because
Well,
that's the short. That's the cliff
and-
notes.
and
BS.
but see, that's what people
Reader's
use
Digest.
to try to confuse you and make you believe that they smart.
What-
You know.
Well, it makes it
but-
hard to decipher
but-
what the real issues
But,
are.
but the
Exactly.
sequester, I thought the sequester, I really did. I thought that, I didn't realize that they
No,
were
your
sequestering.
idea is 100% correct.
Yeah,
we need to,
physical sequestering
we
would
need
be a
to
good
se-
idea.
we need to sequester the Congress and the Senate and get them all in. Say,
them to solve
you know
the
what?
problem.
You
This is
haven't had a
ridiculous.
balanced budget in years. The sequester. They're talking about. I think it's
85 billion.
85 billion dollars. This is what this is what this is about. The fact remains, everybody is pointing fingers. This is the most cockeyed left and right. I
Did you
have
say
seen
$20 million on signs
they
about the
spent
sequester?
$20 million
That's just
on
insane.
making
It's a waste of
signs
money.
about the sequester. Now, to
You know,
me,
if they had to live with the same rules and laws that
Thank
we
you.
did, this would not be happening.
You know
Why
what
are
they
still
should do?
Getting paid for their job
what
when
they-
they're not
there
completing
you go.
the job.
What they should do is, if you don't have a balanced budget at the deadline, you don't get paid.
That's right.
If you didn't do your job, if you didn't open your doors, and if you didn't do what you had to do,
I'm not gonna
do
get
you
paid,
think that
yeah.
you would either not
So
be
I would
fired?
be on the
So
unemployment
who's the
line.
boss?
Right.
So who's the boss?
The people are
The
the
pres-
boss, but
And-
they
and
forget about
the-
it.
Really? Then I can stop their checks? How? Give me a break. How
No,
am I
you'll
going
go-
to
Actually,
stop
your
their
commander-in-chief
checks?
is
so
the boss.
I'm
The president of the
not
United
really in charge.
The president of the
You know.
United States
Yeah.
is technically their boss.
He's-
So then
Yeah,
you got to wonder
but-
how many other massive issues does he have on his plate, and does he want to rock that boat? And then
Well, wait a minute.
What
When you take
what
the-
is
when you
worse
take
than
the
the fact
office-
that we are economically upside down?
Thank
the
you.
fall of every great power has been economy, and
Well,
we
somebody
are
said he's
hanging
been
on the
traveling.
edge.
He's been traveling all over.
Well,
you
that's
know.
his right. He can do whatever he
Yeah,
damn well
but
pleases.
I mean, when there's so many issues to be taken care of,
Especially a massive issue like this right
Okay,
you know,
the fact remains is
you
that
stop troubling and take care of your business.
He's the boss. We've got our Congress, we've got our Senate, we've got our judicial system, we've got all of this going. No one is getting their finger on the pulse. It is like a
I don't
bunch of
understand one
egotistical
part.
little brats running around,
There's something that
and
I
they
don't
want to be
understand.
top
How
dog.
come they say that the government cannot be run as a business? Who takes
Maybe
care
that's
of
the
everything
problem.
then?
Maybe that's the problem.
Everybody
We should
said
start
What do
running
you
it.
do on a daily
You know.
basis?
Yeah.
Do you run
Yeah.
a business?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you write checks if you don't have money in your checking
no,
account?
No, ma'am.
And do
no,
your
ma'am.
employees work
goodness.
best when you're there? Or
That's
when
exactly-
You're away?
that's
because if
exactly-
you're
Well-
away, it's a nice play.
I just
But there's too much common sense
Yeah.
for them.
Maybe
you
they
know.
should start
It's-
running it like a business. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.
Just between us.
we
Welcome back.
we have not quit talking. This is a heated discussion.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. Do you have anything else to say on this?
Yes, if I don't pay my taxes, I get penalized.
Right.
That means that I have to do my job, paying the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they get paid if they're not
The
doing
job's
their
not
job?
complete.
And how dare they say that the sacred cow in there is you can't cut my salary? How dare they
If you don't pay your taxes,
their ass
Yes.
and not mine?
you don't
Pardon
pay
my
your taxes,
language.
the money out of your bank account is taken without notice. There's fees, penalties. People are worried about imprisonment. About personal income tax.
Yeah.
But then, yet we've got this, political system that isn't working. And
That's
without
another
a budget,
But
why do we have to pay if there's no budget?
coming from another country, okay, I know that this is a better system.
Yes.
Of
Okay,
course, of
no
course.
matter what, we have to say that all clear.
course.
I'm not saying that we have a bad system. It's just that somebody's not taking care of the system and not following up
Job's not
the
getting
way
finished.
that
Well,
the
stand
job
by
is not
because when
being
this
done.
when we get into this health issue, this healthcare issue, you'll pay because they have a right to go into your funds and automatically take it.
Wow, you got to be kidding me.
Boy, Big Brother is watching.
Big time, big time.
What happened to democracy? I'd like to know.
So I don't know if things are going to change. I mean, these are the things that I'm reading and stuff. Like a lot of people have Kaiser. Oh, we're okay. No, I know somebody who works for Kaiser, and she said it is going to impact them unbelievable in the state
Well,
of
they don't have
California.
enough
What about small
doctors to
business?
take care
How
of.
can you afford?
They don't
and then
have-
they're going to get paid under the table, which because you feel forced to because you can't afford to.
Look,
insure
But do
your
you know
employees.
there's not enough doctors in
No, because
any-
they can't
to take
deal with
care of
this.
to
No.
deal with
And you have to
Obamacare?
remember, if they charge $100,000 for a surgery, but the government's only going to pay them $25,000,
Who
they
wants to
buy
do
the
that job?
$75,000.
Yeah.
So why should they go to medical school? This is their thinking. Why do I have to go to medical school and pay $250,000 to get my education when I'm not going to make the
What
money?
an ass-backwards way of handling the fact that medical costs have become astronomical.
Yes.
Do you think that maybe the problem is a little bit different than let's just not pay them what they're saying that they're charging?
Yeah. Goodbye. Have a great week.
We didn't end on a very nice note. Have a good weekend.